Yes, wananchi watukufu. Kama vyenye mnajua safari ya kuenda Singapore imeanza.
God have mercy upon us.
Kwa hivyo kama unatapikanga kwa barabara, wewe utaaswa. And before tuende Singapore, tutapitia Uganda.
What are you saying?
You be mumu. Kama vyenye mnajua huko Singapore, hakuna kukunywa pombe. Unaangalia tu pombe, unalewa. Huko Singapore hakuna kugongewa.
What?
Juu hakuna wasewa mayai. Kama vyenye mnajua, kama unatapikanga kwa gari,
Connecting.
wewe utaaswa Uganda. Huko Singapore kuna mashini ya kushika wezi. Si kama huku Kenya unangojea siku 40 ndio ushike mwizi. So huko Singapore tunaenda, atuendi ya watu wa propaganda, vitisho barindri na maandamano.
Mama ya.
Huko Singapore hakuna upinzani. Huko Singapore kama vyenye unawaambia,
Game over.
huko hata maumivu ya kizindi hakuna kumuona daktari. Unaangalia tu ndawa, brufen, unapona. Huko Singapore kama vyenye mnajua, hakuna you ambulances 2 MB. Hakuna ndia customer repair you kwa njazi. Huko Singapore hakuna kulipa token. Huko Singapore kama vyenye mnajua, hata ukikataa kusikia la mkuu, hauwezi vunjika mguu. Huko Singapore hakuna kusoma. Unaangalia tu kitabu unakuwa profesa. Unakuwa na PhD. Unakuwa na masters. So wananchi watukufu, ningewarai mpike chapati mingi na pilau. Ili tuende na safari hii tukikulanga. Kama venye mnajua tunaenda na ndege.
Shut up you.
Na ndege yenye tunaenda nayo,
Shut up.
tukifinya tu hivi mbaton ya flight moon, tunafinga Singapore.
Soea hiyo sauti.
Mimi najiulizanga swali moja. Wakati Genz walitoka Kenya hii wakaenda maandamano, it was not because of Raila Amolo Odinga. Raila Amolo Odinga alikuja tu kukueoyamo. Watu wa Kenya ndio walichoka na maisha. Right now Ruto is working na pesa ya World Bank, akikampeni nayo anapatia watu 50,000. 50,000 biashara unaweza fanya nayo ni kuuza mtumba hapa tao kama hoka, kanjo wakikuja wanakubeba. We are messing this country. And one calamity is William Samoei Ruto. I don't know why we are sugarcoating things. Our main problem as Kenya is William Samoei Ruto, and we have one mission in this country for us to go to Canaan. Sio Singapore. We are not going to Singapore. We are going to Canaan, where Raila Amolo Odinga promised us. Kumanitiere mortgage gachuaka. This country belongs to us. We have to reason and we have to sober up.
Let's look at 3 things Ruto does compared to what Singapore did, then you be the judge. Is Ruto taking us the Singapore way? Au ni stories za jaba? On State House visits, President Ruto spends 5 billion a month, or simply 200 million a day, on what he calls Meet the People development tours. Mr. President, do you honestly believe this spending spree on non-gov developmental programs is how Singapore moved from third world to first world? On governance, Singapore appoints experts to portfolio positions and enforces accountability. President Ruto spends heavily on advisors and has made politically convenient appointments that weaken technical capacity. Take the Ministry of Health, for example. It's run by teachers, not medical practitioners. CS Duale has a business education degree, and the PS ni Mwalimu Mary Murioki. Do you think SHA will ever work? On housing, Singapore's Housing and Development Board is a public housing authority that builds, maintains, and manages homes without robbing citizens' payslips via housing levy. In Kenya, President Ruto robs Kenyans' payslips through the housing levy, then uses that levy as a financing tool to build houses, only to resell those houses back to Kenyans at a profit. President Ruto, Singapore is not a slogan to be used every now and then. To achieve Singapore status, you require institutions that are working, technical competence, and public consent, not slogans. Mr. President, Singapore is a developmental package, not a slogan.
Hi, Feb. So y'all know that the president has this futuristic plan and ideas of moving Kenya from third world to first world. Yani, in short, we are going to be the next Singapore, which is a good idea. This is a bold vision, which is really good, and it's fair enough because we all want to see our country become the next Singapore, or the next Japan, or the next China, the next Hong Kong. But sasa, let's talk about the timelines. Because hapa ni kama video, ni kama drama. This is where things are becoming a little bit cinematic. Zinakaa kama the Matrix movie. Because about 2-3 months ago, the president was promising to take these steps, or rather to bring these shifts or these changes or this development in a span of 30 years. Long enough, so strap in.
We want to move this country from a third world country to a first world country in the next 30 years by 2055.
So when we had this, the journey of making Kenya the next Singapore in 30 years, it's quite reasonable. It's the same amount of time frame that most developed countries took, Dubai, Singapore, China. In 30 years, they were capable of making that dream become a reality. Stay with me. Vindu vichenjanga. So then there's this other time that he said that by the time he's 90 years old, Kenya would have moved from third world to first world country. This is a personal calendar being activated. Don't forget about that.
The next, by the time I get to 90, Kenya should be a first world country.
A safari is just becoming more interesting. So from 30 years, personal calendar being activated. Now, listen to the third point. About a month ago, he met his super team, the brains at work, these big brains, Akina Sudi, Akina Farouk Kibet, and his entire cabinet. And they dropped the 5 trillion shillings kind of a plan, the one that is supposed to shift Kenya now to Singapore. Sasa ini kama sasa, this is like the cream de la cream of the plans. And they had the 4 pillars that are supposed to be realized in 10 years. So, 30 years, personal calendar, and now we have a 10 years plan. I'm like, come on, dude, this is cool because these dudes have discovered a shorter route. I mean, a shortcut has been discovered. What's the problem with this?
The Ministry of Roads and Transport have already mapped out a comprehensive network of 2,500 kilometers of highway for dualing and 28,000 kilometers of road to be tarmacked over the next 10 years. I discussed this vision with the late Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga in the presence of Professor Anyang' Nyong'o, who reminded me that no nation has industrialized without roads, energy.
Now, yesterday, plot twist. By next year, which is 2026, we shall be halfway.
Mimi nawaambia na nataka niseme nikiwa hapa Turkana ya kwamba hiyo plan ya trilioni 5 tumeanza jana, and by next year we will be halfway. Nyinyi mnanielewa? Wengine wanasema haiwezekani, lakini mimi najua inawezekana. Si walituambia hii barabara tulianzisha ya kujenga kutoka Kitale kwenda kupitia mpaka Nakadoko haiwezekani? Hiyo barabara imekamilika ama bado? Si hiyo barabara tumejenga? Na mimi si wazimu, na mimi si mjinga. I know what I'm saying.
Halfway in 1 year into a country that took decades of anti-corruption measures, discipline and planning. We are going to do it in 1 year. Halfway, tutakuwa halfway. I'm telling you, if it's not video na drama with this rate, all of us by Christmas, we are going to check into Marina Bay Sands in Machakos. You haven't gotten the joke, right? Hutaelewa. Papa Ruto. Development is not a motivational speech. Manze, you can't develop this country on motivational speaking. You see, what you're doing is compressing serious structural reforms of Singapore into 12 months of optimism. Like, we're just being optimistic. And being optimistic, it's not even a bad thing. But the time frame, Singapore did not develop with speeches and timelines. It took work. It took discipline. It took scrutiny. It took tough measures of crushing corruption. It took serious implications of corruptions. It took serious jail times. It took seriousness, not speeches, Papa. So, I don't see where we are headed with this. Personal calendar, 30 years, 10 years. And now even yesterday you said that within 12 months, tutakuwa halfway into a country that took decades to develop their structural reforms, to crush corruption. Papa, hata kama ni kupreach, Papa, iwezekani. It's not possible. So it's not that we cannot become Singapore. And it's not that we hate development. But the question that I'm asking myself, if we are going to become Singapore, which calendar are we going to use, Papa? And if we are going to use your personal calendar, or we are going to use the 30 years plan, we need to be consistent. We need to stick into one roadmap. And the journey to Singapore starts with us crushing corruption, because corruption is deeply rooted in our country. It's deeply rooted. So we need to know, we need to be accountable, crush corruption, stick to one roadmap. Papa, we cannot go to Singapore na hiyo speed unataka. It's not going to work. Because there's so many structural reforms that needs to be done in our country.